see we have another big star on the red carpet. Let me introduce you to Janice Lee, and Janice is going to receive an award for, share with us, Janice, what are you receiving your award for?
I'm a director and the chair of the newly formed program committee, which has two basic responsibilities, one of which is to create the program calendar for AAUW, and then the other one, which is the fun one, is to give out the identify and give out the Branch Activity of the Year award.
Movies are rated by their numbers. You know, we have IMDb scores and reviews and numbers of reviews and that sort of thing. What are there any important numbers that you'd like to share with us today?
A plus. That's how I'd rate it. No.
All right.
A number, that's a letter. One of the things we did establish was a post-analysis of our webinars. A questionnaire for the people that were viewing the webinars to get their feedback, which would help us produce future programs. And so I believe that the numbers so far to date have been really very good, almost 100% excellent. So I'm very proud of that. We had the highest number of applicants for our Branch Activity of the Year award in history.
So tell us, who's the audience for your work?
All our wonderful members in the state of California. And they're diverse, and we try to understand who our many segments were and try to tap into it, but all meeting our mission, our state mission, right? So that's how we identify. We wanted to make sure we reached a lot of different subsegments, but always remembering to meet our mission.
How do you know if your movie has been a hit?
Okay, well, as I mentioned, we did that post-analysis questionnaire for sure. But before that, I think the subject matters were of interest by the number of people that signed up to view the webinars. So we had well over 100 on several of our webinars, 100 and some odd attendees. So that's how we review the success of that and the post-analysis.
Janice, moviegoers want to see a blockbuster, and our branches want to see them too. What blockbuster ideas did programs screen for them this year?
I think we had a great year of learning through our programs, and we drew in a lot of different audiences. So we introduced a range of presentation webinars, from the very inspirational, quiet story of a Japanese and Hispanic family from Orange County that worked together and eventually impacted the California school segregation law, as well as the federal School Segregation Act. Very quiet story, but it was called The Kindness of Color, and we drew in well over 100, 130, I think, participants. So from that small, quiet little story, we went to the big state project idea by introducing GovTrack to all our members. Both powerful presentations that impact the present and future of young women and women tomorrow.
Great. And I know that people can find all of these amazing webinars on our website if they look at the top menu and look under webinars. So thanks, Janice. Thanks for joining us and stopping to answer a few questions. For those people who might not recognize you, could you tell us who you are and why you're here today?
Sure. Happy to be here, Sandy. My name is Marlene Cain, and I am the program director for AAUW California Speech Trek, and I'm happy to be accepting this award on their behalf.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank
I have
you.
a few questions for you, so to help our audience get to know you a little bit better in your committee.
Sure.
Actors need dramatic training, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
So do speech trek contestants.
Mm-hmm.
How well did our speakers do this year in their performance?
Well, according to the feedback that I've received from our judges, they did very well. Comments ranged from, boy, I wish I had one-tenth of the poise that they showed in their speeches, to the words like impressive, and took their breath away. So yes, I think they did very well this year.
Fantastic. And I know we're going to see some of them later today at our event.
Oh, right, correct. You'll see the top three speakers, and the big reveal will be at the end of today, which you'll hear first, second, and third place.
What would you like the TV viewing audience to know about your accomplishments this year?
Well, first of all, it's our 17th year of hosting Speech Trek. This program started back in 2007, so we're very proud of that fact. And we're very proud of the quality of the speeches and the fact that, many adults will not do what these students have done. That is, they will not get in front of an audience and speak. And that's because even actors recognize that. I'm sure you're aware. George Jessel said that the human brain starts working the moment we're born, and it doesn't stop until we stand to speak in public. So
yes,
I really give my hat off to these contestants.
It is an amazing opportunity for them to share their poise with us.
Mm-hmm.
Movies are rated by numbers like ticket sales, IMDb scores. Are there any important numbers that you'd like to share with us today?
Sure, a couple of important numbers. I would say that over the years, the last 17 years, we've seen well over 1,500 students go through this program and gain more poise and skill as a result of it. They put it on their college applications, they include it on their resumes, and they have told us that it has helped them become a much more competent communicator. And to date, we have distributed over $50,000 in award monies.
So we know that some movies are very innovative. You can think of Memento, for example. What was innovative about your production this year?
The feedback we get most often on the most innovative part of the Speech Trek program is our topic selection. The topics, for those of you who don't know, the topics change every year, and a lot of thought and research goes into those topics because you want to make sure that they're mission-based and that they're timely and current with what's happening in the world or in the country, and that they appeal to high school students. So it does have to check a lot of boxes, but that is the comment and feedback that we get most of the time, is how innovative and relevant our topics are.
Okay. And I think we'll be hearing about that later today.
Yes,
as well.
you will.
So we know that movies have plots, settings, characters. Are there some things that your committee always has to do in order to put this production on?
Yes, there certainly is a structure to it. We have to make sure that our toolkits are up to date and current. We have to make sure that the topic, of course, is announced in a timely fashion. We have to make sure that the policies and procedures are in place and up to date. We have to make sure that judges are selected, both for the semifinals and for the state finals. So there are many chores that go along with this, but the end result is always rewarding.
So is there anything in your production this year that might have gone splat?
Oh, gosh, yes. Let me think. The biggest challenge I think we had, I don't recall any splats necessarily, but the biggest challenge, as with many programs, I'm sure, it was the pandemic. And so our response to that was to go virtual. And when it first happened, we had to do it quickly, pivot really on a dime. And I will say that we took that splat and turned it into a good thing. So that this year you'll see a hybrid of some virtual, some live. They require different skill sets, but the end result is still the same, an effective original speech. So I would say that could have been a huge splat had we not reacted well.
Well, thank you very much for your time on the red carpet today, Marlene, and we'll see you later in the show.
Hi, everybody. I just saw Roli Wendorf, our CFO, walking down the red carpet. Let's go find her. Let's find out what finance is doing for AAUW California. Roli, wait up for me. Hi, Roli.
Hello there.
Hi. For those people who don't know you, can you give us a little bit of background on who you are and what role you're playing with AAUW California?
Hello, everyone. I'm Roli Wendorf, the Chief Financial Officer of AAUW California. I'm all about the money. I make sure that we manage our funds responsibly, that what we spend isn't more than what we make.
Speaking of money, we're on the red carpet, and we know that there's been some very expensive movies like the Pirates of the Caribbean, which is the most expensive movie ever made. And it had a whopping budget of $397 million. I know we don't have that much money to work with, but what are the main things that we have to budget for, and how are we doing?
Well, with advocacy a major pillar of the AUW mission, over one half of the state budget goes to support the public policy program, the bulk of it being the legislative advocate's fee. Another significant expense is salary for a part-time office manager and other expenses related to maintaining our very productive AUW California office. The third chunk is travel expenses, primarily for in-person leadership team meetings, which we are doing twice this year. The other three meetings we are holding on Zoom to save expenses. Another expense area is website support and the license fees for a variety of software tools like Zoom, MailChimp, and QuickBooks. We also pay a CPA to file our tax-related paperwork and do our annual financial review. Our state finances are in great shape. We expect to end this year in the black.
That's fantastic. So what would you like our TV viewing audience to know about your accomplishments this year?
Our investments are doing as well as can be expected given the volatile market conditions. We've made about 4% on our investments this year since July 1. Earlier this year, our finance committee completed a significant update of the finance website. You should check it out. There's a ton of useful information there, and it's much easier to access now. The committee is also working very hard on a pilot implementation to move the accounting for Tech Trek camps to QuickBooks. Finally, we will be presenting a webinar on membership renewals on Wednesday, May 3rd. Do sign up for it.
So there are some really innovative movies out there, and we'd like to know what is innovative about your AAUW finance production this year.
Well, let's see. We don't want to be too creative with our state accounting.
Good point.
So our emphasis is on accuracy and fiscal responsibility. We use our funds for impactful mission-based activities in line with the strategic goals and plans for the year. The most innovative activity this year is a pilot program to use QuickBooks for managing the accounts of each of the Tech Trek camps.
If they gave out a special Academy Award for the Finance Committee, what would they call it?
Well, how about calling it the Greatest Bang for the Buck Award?
Okay.
We are trying to do the most we can with the funds we have to promote our mission-based programs.
And I think nobody wants to have a rotten tomato, but have you had any green splats this year?
We were concerned about cash flow problems early on in July. Due to the new hub, membership renewals income was much slower to come in than usual. We were worried we may not have adequate funds upfront, for example, to pay out insurance expenses, which are high and need to be paid out early. However, between the membership dues income that did come in and carry over from the previous year, we were able to manage without a major cash crunch. So without a big green splat.
Okay. So my last question for you is, how do you know if your movie's been a hit? Do your fans tell you?
Well, when is finance ever a hit? That's almost a funny question. But I would say finance is a hit with the state board members when they're able to ignore it completely and focus their attention on other weighty matters instead. On the other hand, branch finance officers are happy when their issues have been resolved. They send us nice thank you notes when they're pleased, which we appreciate very much.
Well, thank you for joining me on the red carpet today, Roli, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the event.